What's up guys, my name is Carl and welcome to Tech Hunter. On this channel I check out a lot of PC hardware as well as other bits of day-to-day tech to make your lives that little bit easier. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Today I'm checking out the Aero-500G RGB. As you can tell by its name, it's a PC case with a hint of RGB lighting included and a tempered glass side panel for just £50. The £50 price point is full of tons of great options right now, including big name companies like Vantex, Cooler Master and Corsair, to name just a few, have great options around this price. Has the 500G got what it takes to keep up with those big name players? Let's find out. So for £50 you generally don't expect too much from your case. A side panel window and a nice clean look are generally all you can expect. Maybe even some LED fans too. So for Aerocool to get built-in RGB LED light strips and a 2-fan controller and a tempered glass panel is quite good going here. I'll run you through the specs of this case, starting with those LED light strips. They've got 13 lighting modes, 7 solid color modes and 6 RGB flow lighting modes, and a dedicated button up by the I/O. The I/O includes the power button, 2 USB 2.0 ports, a single USB 3.0 port, and your usual headphone and microphone jacks. Next to the power button is also 2 separate fan controllers, so you can control the speed of the fans inside your system if you decide to hook them up to this controller. You also get 2 magnetic dust filters with this case, one up top to help keep the dust out of your case if you plan to mount some fans up there or even a 240mm radiator up there as well. And there's also one at the bottom for the power supply. This case also has support for 5¼ inch drives at the front with easily removable bay covers. So if you're not ready to ditch your Blu-ray or CD drive, this case has you covered. The case supports CPU cooler heights of up to 155mm and GPUs in length of up to 374mm. Inside you can install up to 4 3.5 inch hard drives and up to 2 more 2.5 inch drives as well. Looking around the exterior of the case, I did notice a few issues. I'm not sure if I received a bit of a defective one, it might have got damaged in the post, but it did have some noticeable flaws. The stands at the bottom of mine don't quite seem able to keep the case very sturdy, and as a result it seems to wobble about a bit, which is a bit of a pain. But they do offer nice clearance so that you can see the underglow of the Asus Aurosync compatible RGB 500W PSU that Aerocool sent me along with this chassis. Feel free to check the description if you're interested in that kind of thing down below. Moving inside though, things take a bit of a turn for the worse. Once the awkwardly attached tempered glass panel is removed, you can get a look at the inside. The pre-installed cables from the front I/O are hideous. They're all multicolored and the HD audio one is a kind of ivory white color. And it's like these cables are straight from a PC from 1995. If they were just all black, they'd barely get a mention, but the color choice here is just that bad, I had to say something about it. There are 6 motherboard standoffs already included and fitted, so that's a nice touch and saves you having to install them all. And there's also one included 3-pin black Aerocool fan, so that if you connected that up to the cables coming from the front I/O and then the controller at the front of your case, you could easily control the speed of that fan, and you could also add a second as well at the front. At the rear there are 7 expansion slots, but only one is replaceable. I don't know why companies are doing this, and the others have to be bent out of the way and cannot be put back, so that's a bit of a downside. There's also no grommets included in the cable cutouts, and there's obviously no PSU shroud, which I feel would have been a really nice thing to have. My reason for that is because cable management in this case is so poor. Your options are leave as much of your cabling at the bottom and on show, or stuffed into your hard drive cage, or hide as much as you can and creatively as you can around the back. You should also limit how much you want to put in your case, because I didn't realize it before I started building, so I had things like extra fan hubs, RGB splitters, and I was tempting to use cable extension, but I'd say they're pretty much a no-go, and I'd say a modular PSU is an absolute must here too. From what I can see, there is about 3 cable tie points on the rear of the case, which when you compare to the similar priced Vantex P300, you get an entire channel on the left-hand side for your cables, as well as the shroud at the bottom to cover up your PSU cable. The 8-pin EPS cable cut out in the corner is also a bit annoying, as it's technically unusable if you've mounted your motherboard before routing your cables. As a result, all of this, if you look at the rear of mine, is quite frankly an absolute nightmare, and getting the rear panel on is basically a 2-person job. But once the case is all turned on and up and running, and your friend has helped you put that rear panel back on, it does look quite good. I do really like the RGB light bars at the top and the bottom and the front of the case. For me though, the case doesn't quite give me that feel of relief once it's built. It's a little bit more regret. If you're looking at building a PC in this case, it's because you can't say goodbye to your 5¼ inch drives, and you're also a fan of those light strips, like me. But if you're planning on packing this case full of hardware, heed my wise words. Number 1, I'd recommend using some regular 12-volt LED DC fans and making use of the included fan controller, unlike me. I recommend you grab a modular power supply with flat black cables, or buy a modular power supply with specific cable kit that matches your PSU and not just extensions, unlike me. Route your 8-pin EPS before you install your motherboard, unlike me, and grab some black sleeving for the included I/O cables. That's not my fault, I wasn't unaware of that, so I'll give myself a break for that one. If you really want RGB lighting built into your case, for £50 though, this is quite a compelling case. But if that's not a big thing for you, then unfortunately, I couldn't really recommend this case over the likes of the Phanteks or even the Corsair. In a few years' time, I expect to see all of these features on cases for around £30 to £35, especially when Aerocool has added in some really high-end features to a really low budget case. And in some cases it does show, but it's nice to have the option if you want that. But it does prove that you don't need to spend a lot of money for an interesting and different looking chassis. Anyway though guys, that is the end of the video. As always, if you like this kind of stuff, feel free to click that like button. And if you didn't, click that dislike button. Let me know what you thought about today's video. Leave your comments down below, and I want to know what you guys think about the Aerocool 500G. I want your comments down below, please. And if you decide my face hasn't offended you and you're happy with this new location, it was obviously is a work in progress, but feel free to click that subscribe button down below so we can see each other again soon. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.